Welcome to SoundBreaker. Today we have a guest that he's no stranger to SoundBreaker. We had him before, David Ronan. He's also the CEO and founder of RoEx. It's been a minute, but definitely it's so interesting. There's so many things happening in the business and with RoEx. And David, we wanted to have him again. There's so much that he can contribute with his platform and what's going on in the business. David, pleasure to have you again on SoundBreaker, my friend.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be back.
Absolutely. Since our first interview or discussion, I would say there's so much happening. First of all, with you on RoEx and the growth and the expansion you guys have been witnessing, I've been witnessing, watching it, and what's going on in the business. So you know what? You'll start. There's so much to talk about. I think it'll be an interesting, insightful discussion today on SoundBreaker with you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, for us as a business, I mean, this is our kind of second year of kind of triple-digit growth. So things are growing, revenues are growing. So from a business perspective, things are growing well. But from an actual kind of like technology perspective and what we're doing, I mean, we've processed over 5 million tracks at this point. We've helped over 1 million artists improve their audio. We've got integrations with United Masters. So basically everyone that distributes a track through United Masters platform, they get mastered by RoEx's technology. We've got deep integrations with Music AI and Moises, and various other partnerships as well.
Amazing. I see a lot of collaborative partnerships.
And I would say as well, like our like as much as the like business to business angle is doing well, like we're seeing massive growth in our direct to consumer business as well. Like we've had 20% month on month growth for the last quarter, I would say. I think we've just kind of finally figured out our customer and kind of what they want and what works for them. I think as well, we've kind of, the way we kind of started out as a company, we're in the cloud. And we always kind of knew it, but like music creation happens in the DAW. You know what I mean? That's where it happens. And we're kind of been working the last kind of 2 years or so, kind of trying to get closer and closer to that. And so by that I mean like we've integrations with Ableton Live, PreSonus Studio One, Bitwig Studio, and Cubase. So now, like on our platform, after you've kind of created your mix, you can actually download it as a project file for the DAW. And within that, so we would have loaded it up with all your unprocessed audio, but we've configured all the EQs and compressors, the gains. So you're basically back in the DAW, point of creation, and you're able to kind of make music or tweak it and do what you want with it, basically. So we're kind of more assistive than a replacement kind of thing, essentially.
David, just like a quick drop intro on RoEx, for our new listeners who haven't watched our initial interview together on SoundBreaker, just to kind of give them what's RoEx all about, what does it stand for. I'm aware of it. A lot of people do.
Yeah.
And congrats on all the success and the growth you guys have been experiencing. Really amazing, man.
Thank you.
But we're gonna talk about that in a second. Go ahead, give us just a quick.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I mean, at a very high level, what we do is we essentially build tools for musicians and content creators, essentially, to give them the confidence they need to release their music. What that means specifically is we basically have loads of AI-driven tools that essentially simplify kind of the complex hurdles that come with music production, which there are. We do it at very low cost, because the thing is, like, if you're not technical when it comes to music production, you like having to go and learn like about EQ, compression, limiting, all these kind of things. Like it's tough. And the other thing is, like, if you want, otherwise you can spend a lot of money on plugins. You could pay to rent a studio, and like a lot of people don't have the means to do that. Especially if you're doing this as a hobby, you don't really want to spend loads of money. So essentially, we build tools for these kinds of people. And then we obviously, on the B2B side, it's more about tools for their users to do the similar thing and kind of essentially guarantee quality within their kind of audio production pipelines.
Does RoEx work also with generative AI platforms to kind of enhance some of the generated songs that it's becoming part of the norm now? It's on the charts and the distribution, which is fine, But you guys working with some of these platforms?
No, not No, not directly, but we do see a lot of that content come through our platform. Because
Amazing.
we obviously we kind of dip in and out, kind of listen to stuff just for quality control, and
Yeah.
we would see things like Suno, Udio, that type of thing. I think we even had someone actually cancel their subscription with us because Udio have whatever changed their business model, which is quite interesting. So that
Yeah,
I
they
mean, I
did.
was,
They did because you cannot release. Not sorry to interrupt, but
no, no, sorry.
supposedly on audio you cannot release it commercially. Correct?
Exactly. Yeah, so obviously there is the stuff that's coming out of Suno and Udio. There's people have a desire to obviously improve the quality, which is obviously good for us in some ways. So
It is. It is amazing. So uh, let's talk about that. And RoEx obviously it helped music artists, human. Now we have to mention human made or AI made, so or machine made. Um, but as you see the shift happening and you've been noticing, and obviously artists, inspired artists or entrepreneurs, whoever, they've been using the platform to enhance the quality, which is great. So people still care about not
yeah,
just generate something and slap it out. They just say, hey, it needs to be enhanced. They
well,
listen to
you'd
it,
be
they make sure.
surprised.
Yes, yes, I totally 100%. Um, what's your opinion and what's going on lately? I mean, we want to talk about. We're going to break it down. There's so much. We're witnessing the shift, obviously, not just because of AI. AI did
Yeah,
have a major influence on it, but the monetization part of it, AI wasn't really the problem. AI wasn't. AI just a new thing came in, and I wouldn't say it took over, but it dominated and it changed a lot of the. I would say the landscape of the whole music business, but. The main issue and the main problem that a lot of artists, a lot of independent labels been facing and struggling with is monetization, because not every artist have the ability to tour, not every artist have the following and the to scale that to say, hey, let's put a concert tour together, unless if you're a major established artist. But the business was never built on major artists, was built always from the beginning, from the ground up, independent artist to a major artist. And and always the monetization became a major issue to everybody, so that it is no longer something that people, a lot of independent artists could say, hey, this is a full-time gig, this is what I do, it's a full-time, this is my career, I'm an artist and that's what I'm pursuing. They can't. They have to have other businesses, they have to have another job, because of the monetization issue. And they try to pin it on AI, but that didn't last long. AI didn't steal anything, didn't take any royalties. No, it just the system is no longer, I would say, works in our time. It served its purpose for the past 20 something plus years.
yeah.
But does it serve the current state that we're in? I don't think so. And it's changing. Where is it going? I cannot tell you, but I could see some. I don't see the writing in the wall, but I see the writing in the wall that there is something we shifting to a new way of monetization. Maybe you can help in. Maybe you can.
I mean, I my kind of view on how things are kind of going, where I hope they go, is more of a hope where they go. Is like
Yeah.
we're in the midst of this like AI slop. It's everywhere. I mean, a perfect example. I think at Christmas, Coca-Cola have that new bloody Coca-Cola, and it's AI generated. I was immediately like, oh my, that's bring back the old one. Holidays are coming, please.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
but I think as humans, as people, we value authenticity, and I think that
Correct.
we gravitate towards that. And I think as more and more of this slop is available on social media and places like that, you just become jaded by it. You know what I mean? You're just like, I mean, you go on somewhere like LinkedIn, you can spot a mile off when that post has been written by AI, and it's not someone that's really thought
Yes.
about or put into it. And I think that it'll come full circle that people will seek out the authentic musicians because they can relate to them from a human perspective. They have their struggles, their strifes, their emotions, and then there's obviously the lore that comes with it. You know what I mean? You look at any artist, like, I mean, one of my favorite bands is Radiohead. I would have like very interested to know what amp they used, what pedals they were using. You don't get that with these AI kind of
Correct.
essentially musicians.
Yes.
So I think it will come full circle. But I think back to the monetization thing, obviously there's just this. I mean, streaming is obviously the problem. There's not much money in that, but I do think that the two, like being a full time musician, you have so many jobs essentially. Not only do you have the obviously the music creation, the touring, you have to market yourself, you have to create the content. If anything, like a lot of those things are very kind of like creating content. We'll say a lot of it is kind of like legwork, and I think AI tools can actually help a lot with that. You know what I mean? As long as like the content itself is authentic. I mean, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Obviously, if you're just
Hmm.
putting out AI
Hmm.
slop.
Yeah.
So I would argue that things maybe could get better, but I'm an optimist. So
Well, it will get better, but but the better is gonna be in the change. I think in the
mm,
new, uh, I would say, um, a new format of monetization. It will get better,
yeah,
but before it does, it goes through a shift, and the shift kind of becomes a bit confusing. But I know uh, a lot of the majors, they see in the writing on the wall, and they know where everything is going, obviously, and that's why they have their hands on a lot of these AI platforms and how things need to work.
yeah,
But the monetization end of it, and how social gonna play a big part of it, how sharing and creating gonna be the new way of monetization, because as TikTok had its era, it gave us you know it gave us kind of a new path, and
hmm
where a lot of the young creators and inspired artists who became new artists and all of that, where's that going? The
yeah.
old, so it was a beginning of an end of an era that we were part of. And now when TikTok came in, opened a new era. Say the experience is really a big part of the entertainment business. And I felt like the music business kind of ignored the experience,
Do you
relying on, yes.
do you think that obviously with the way that like obviously the Sunio Zanudio type style businesses are here to stay? I mean, the genie's out of the bottle essentially.
Oh, they're not going. They're not going.
They're
Yes,
not
they're going to
going.
stay. They're going to grow. Yeah, and they're going to be part of that format of monetization. How are we going to monetize on music in the near future? What's the new way? Beside, you know,
But
what's
is
traditionally known now, which is streaming.
if like I guess if these models are to get better, they're kind of they're it's obviously the tech has to improve and the data needs to be better as well. But I think there could be a thing where I don't know, artists start basically licensing. Another kind of revenue stream for them is to license. Okay, look, I'm a professional guitarist. I have this amazing band. We can license you or training data essentially. I mean, I don't know how much that pays. I mean, I don't know how who's doing it correctly or whatnot, but I think that could be another way of to monetize. You know what I mean? But at
Well,
the end of the
listen,
day,
when you have something, so much of it, it becomes cheaper. You know that it becomes cheaper and cheaper, and
exactly.
eventually it becomes free, and it becomes where on the back end artists will make no longer advances. You'll share. You'll get I don't know, point of a point of a point of a cent,
Yeah.
because when you have so many songs being trained, and then we don't know which songs that being used for that particular song,
Well, this is it.
that was
Attribution.
generated. Yes, yes, yes. And it just, yeah, I mean, sure, always with new technology and new ways, things get a bit less and less, as far as the monetization, how much you would make. Nobody would thought, from selling a single for $3 or $10, or selling an album for $12 or $15 in the store, and the
Yeah,
record label will pocket 10 or 8, and it's went down to a point of a point of a point of a penny.
yeah, yeah.
Less than that even. Yeah, so way less than that. So yeah, it would be totally, yes, something I would say, uh much less. But again, but I like what you're doing, and in my opinion, I think such a platform like RoEx, your technology should be implemented, or I would say licensed to a lot of the traditional platforms that you stream music on, and it will be part of it, where it's automated. The minute you release a track, it has to go through um, it's a must just for the quality, for the
Yeah,
integrity of the actual production, where it goes through a mastering process
yeah,
automatically. Okay, if it's mastered already and you have it, yes, it's mastered by so and so. So where you master it, whether you used an AI platform or you used a non-studio. But if you didn't, it should go automatically through a process once it gets submitted to a streaming platform, just to protect the integrity and the quality of the product itself, and maintain that. And that's really how we empower artists and show that we care, because it's
yeah,
all about the quality at the end of the day. And not every artist sometime could afford or have the time. There's many reasons. Not everybody use such platforms out there. But I
yeah,
think it should be, such technology that you built. I would love to see it to be part of a streaming platform, like it's part of it.
yeah, yeah.
Where, yeah. And as it is, the streaming platform, they take a big chunk out of your money anyhow. So
Indeed.
you know
I I mean, we'd
so
hope that like in 5 to 10 years, you wouldn't have an excuse for having bad audio. Do you know what I mean? It's just like because
10 years,
technology
that's
just
far.
moves
You're
on.
thinking way far. I
Like 5 years. I mean,
don't
ideally
far.
five. Ideally
We'll
five.
be living on a spaceship. We're living on Atlas 31, something like that. But pretty interesting, man. Yes, I mean, I would say it's exciting and interesting times, because I've been following it and kind of being part of it, and I really like it. When you see something evolving, I like the evolvement part of it,
Yeah,
of what we're going through right now, and watching a lot of the innovative minds and ideas and companies and platform like yours, like RoEx, where it's playing a big part of it. Contributing such empowerment for artists and help, because such a platform like yours, really, back in the day, there was no platform. You have to go to a physical place, and you got to book the time, and you got to pay
yeah,
the
yeah.
money, and it's a lot. I
It
remember
is
I done it.
expensive.
I had a record
Yeah,
label. I remember mastering was a big thing. Who do you master with?
yeah.
And on all of that, absolutely. And they're busy. You got to wait a week, and it's you could do it now from the comfort of your own home. Wherever you are.
Yeah.
You know, and probably you could do it through your mobile. Correct? You can from your
Yeah,
cell
yeah, oh
phone.
yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's as easy as
I
that.
mean, yes, beautiful. And you can release it. It'll be amazing. Yes, I think I see a lot of collaboration more and more, which is I always like to see the music business working together,
Yeah.
because collaborative partnership is really the key. That was many in the past was missing, because everybody got their own little kingdom and their own little gates, and
Yeah.
so now it's like you have to collaborate, you have to partner up, you have to do it this way,
Yeah.
in order
It's a
for
small
things.
industry in the grand scheme of
Yeah,
things. It's a
you
village. Do you know
guys
what I mean?
work with
Everyone knows.
you work with distributors.
Yeah, United Masters are the main one that we work with.
That's master, yeah. But you're open to work with others, correct? Or
Yeah,
aggregators,
absolutely. Yeah,
distributors.
we're in discussions with a few.
Amazing, amazing. And how does the service, like, any updates since the last time, as far as how the service work, as far as the subscription, the fees, and that, and all, and the extras that you guys added?
Yeah, I mean, we've very much kind of focused on people. Obviously, it's just more. It's like we've kind of designed it so it's for people. It's designed for people who don't like DAWs, essentially. You know what I mean? That's kind of the way. Like even when we actually did the original design of the software, we hired a designer who knows nothing about music production because we didn't want the baggage because I think that's
Yeah,
what kind of because as I said, like the first time you open a DAW, you're like Jesus Christ, like what the hell, it's overwhelming. So we've always kind of stuck to that, and we've just been kind of chipping away at like focusing on what are the things that like because you have to assume that most people if they're not going to be comfortable working in a DAW, they probably don't know how to record properly. So like trying to clean up the audio as well is important because if you can't if you bring in bad audio, it's really difficult to mix it. So we're kind of focusing a lot on that. And obviously what I've mentioned before, the full circle, being able to take it back into the DAW has just been like since we launched our DAW integrations, like we've really seen revenue drive like a lot. And that's
wow.
because I mean it's hard to like the DAW is the center of gravity. That's where it happens. You know what I mean? It's hard to escape. I
Mm-hmm.
know there's a lot of online DAWs now, and I think gradually things will move that way. I think there's probably a lot of people hanging on to massive plugin libraries that won't work in the cloud. And obviously, as the newer generation comes along, but like ultimately at the same time, it's where the DAW happens. So that's where we kind of need to be. We've also been kind of expanding a bit into post production as well, more kind of like audio, or sorry, dialogue, ADR, that kind of stuff for film and TV.
Wow.
But we're still very much focused on music. I think like that's where we come from. That's that's in our DNA, so to say. And we're kind of as well, we're proliferating more. The other thing as well, like we've actually we've got it now so our models can run. They don't need to run in the cloud anymore. They can run on your phone. They can run on your iPad. They can run on a bloody Raspberry Pi if we need to be. So we're looking at bringing it to your iPad, bringing it onto your laptop. So you don't actually need to go on the internet, basically, because the idea is that, like, if you bounce out of your DAW, you don't want to have to send it to the cloud. You want to just be able to just do it in your desktop, get it done, do the final kind of thing, and away you go, essentially. So that's kind of our kind of immediate focus for the next 3 to 6 months, I would say.
Amazing, really amazing. I love what you're doing, man. I really do. More kudos to you. And do you? I know there's other platform kind of similar. Do you? I mean, competition is always good. It keeps you going.
Absolutely.
It keeps you more innovative. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. But it's still different. I've seen some of the competition out there, but RoEx is still a bit different than the rest.
Yeah, we're unique because like we're the only company that does full multi-track mixing. Like there's one other company that does mixing called Cryomix, and I really like them. I know the founder; he's a really nice guy, and I really respect what he does. But they're more kind of aimed at kind of hip hop and rap, and they only do 2-track mixing. So we're quite sophisticated in that sense. We do up to 32 channels, and obviously we do the mastering as well. But I think what we've been kind of trying to be doing from the start is like we're very transparent about the process. Like you can see the settings we use, how the AI kind of got to that decision. So there's very much a kind of a learning aspect as well. And I think that's kind of really stood us well, kind of like because transparency, I think, because there's a lot of opaqueness, obviously these days with what's going on. I think transparency has really helped us a lot. And yeah, that's what we're going to lean into more going forward, I would say.
Amazing. Well, I could see Netflix coming in and putting an offer in on the table soon. They're starting their own record label. They're starting their own record label.
I did not know.
Yeah, yep. They're gonna have their own artists that nobody like. The same way they own all the rights to the movies that they're producing. They're starting their own record label. Yep, and they're gonna have their own artists that nobody owns. Publishing. They're gonna own management, the whole thing.
Wow, that must be very recent. And like I know they've gone into video.
Very new. Yes, and I could see them coming in after a platform like yours. Say, hey, you know what? We want you to join us.
Yeah. Well, if the visions align, I won't say no.
Well, listen. I mean, look. I don't know how long would it take for this deal to get approved with Warner Brothers and Netflix, but I know it's in the work.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh, still in the works. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I know Paramount wanted it, but I'm not sure which one was the best deal for them to take, for Warner Brothers to take, whether it's Netflix or the other one or Paramount. But yes, definitely interesting times, and to see a lot of the whole thing controlled by only, I would say, less than a handful of companies. They control everything. It's a bit kind of like, really? Is this what the whole thing is about now?
Yeah. Out of all the people you've talked to recently, where do you kind of see things going? What's your sense of all the kind of interviews you've done the last year?
I tell you, it's been an interesting year, I have to say. I talked to a lot of people. I learned a lot of things. I met a lot of interesting people. And I'm always learning, even been in the business for 30 years. I'm learning every day. I said, you know what? Every time I go on an interview, I check my ego. I said, put it outside the door and just listen and learn, because you never know. People come on and they say, like the innovation that you came up with about a year, when we spoke about a year ago.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, wow, I feel like I've been away from the business for a long time. I really haven't, but such a thing, I would say, got me more closer to the business. And I start to see and hear things and see how I would say, how a lot of people like yourself taken, I would say, the initiative of innovation and bring in positive things to the business, which is needed, obviously. But and to answer your question, I would say mixed messages. But I know
Mm,
one thing: blockchain will play a big role.
interesting.
Yes, blockchain will be, I would say, part of the norm. Will be part of the norm. We're not talking NFTs, other things, securing metadata,
Mm,
tokenization. Yes, fractional ownership, selling catalog, authentication, smart contracts. It definitely will be, because a lot of the tangible, I would say, or anything that asset, anything
hmm.
that is an asset is going to go on a blockchain. Like if real estate will go, if insurance policies will go,
I think so.
data will go on. Yeah, so energy, water being tokenized, energy being tokenized.
Hmm.
So why not music? Music is an asset, isn't it? Catalog is an asset.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Publishing
yeah.
is an asset. Writing shares assets. So these are assets, valuable assets and it's obviously any asset, it has a value on it, a
Hmm.
dollar value on it. So
I,
yes, I
I
would say.
I think with
Go ahead.
blockchain, like it's always because the issue of like, and I'm very interested and I'm in, like somewhat involved in it as well. But like I've always found that like the UI UX of it has always been the challenge, like for mass adoption, we'll say. But I think companies have kind of
Yes,
copped onto it now, and they just
it's going to
hide
change. It's
it,
going to become, yes.
you
Well,
know.
it was a bit more tricky to get involved in 5, 6 years ago. It was like you would have to have different wallets and this and
Yeah,
hide this. And it was so complicated. Like, it wasn't an easy transaction.
yeah,
It wasn't an easy transaction like
and there's
certain
risk. There's
things,
a lot of risk attached.
a lot of risk. Yeah. Now it was slowly, it's going to get simplified, like distribution. It's
Hmm.
easy. I don't have to worry about distribution. There's special companies that can go sign up and they have the whole thing figured out. The
Yeah,
same
yeah,
thing will be for the blockchain. Yes, it will be the same thing. It'll be the
I think
same
so
thing.
too.
Absolutely. But would it be the main? It'll play a part. I would have to say it'll play an important part in where not tokenized, where monetization will go,
Yeah.
definitely, and how independent artists, gonna make money. Because I'm always advocating for independent artists, and I'm
Hmm.
like, how can I help? How can I contribute? By sure, I have our own platform, Music Dash, and I'm always doing partnerships, and we're growing. Knock on wood, because our motto is, hey, we offer free distribution. We don't want to charge you money. Keep your credit card in your pocket. Just come in, distribute your music, and we'll make
Yeah.
money together. If you succeed, we succeed.
That's the way. That's a good model.
And yes, absolutely, absolutely. And we provide also, not to mention, white label, which is a lot of people very always interested in white label. Yes,
Yeah.
giving opportunities to a lot of entrepreneurs who want to be in the business, who have access to artists, but they don't have access to the other side of it. You know.
Yeah. They need the plumbing basically.
Well, yes, absolutely. Well, I would say, I truly enjoyed having you back. Thank you for coming back to SoundBreaker. And I could see there's a bright year ahead of you, my friend, ahead of all of us, obviously.
I think so. Thank you.
And yes, and I would say I'm happy to be part of this new transition that I'm witnessing, and I'm being part of it, and you part of it, contributing a lot of positive things to artists, to companies, to the industry itself. We need more people like yourself and others. We're always innovating and coming up with positive, not just how can I make money? Really, how can you help? How can you innovate? How can you elevate? And I think the money will come. You know,
Yep.
if the
Agreed.
intention is right, the money will come. As long as the
Agreed.
intention is right. Yes. Any any advice? Anything that you would like to give our viewers before we say goodbye? And I'm sure a year from now, or maybe 6 months from now, we'll have you again.
Yeah. I mean, just I think it's like just stay authentic. Stay true to yourself. Don't like. I suppose obviously the topic being AI. Like, don't use AI to replace anything you do as a human. I think use it to enhance what you do. But like ultimately, it's you is what is important, and I think AI can be there to enhance that, not to replace it. I think that's my
Yes, good
key
advice.
message.
David, it's really well said, my friend. I have to say, it was a pleasure having you on SoundBreaker.
Thanks
I'm
for having
sure
me.
our viewers going to enjoy this amazing discussion and your point of view on the business. And don't forget to reach out to David if you want to talk to him on LinkedIn. And I don't know where else they could reach out if somebody want to get a hold of you or somebody want to buy out RoEx, put an offer. And if somebody want to put us, come to me first. I got to get a piece of it.
You take a cut.
Yes, got to commission that deal. Absolutely. Well, Laurent, it was a pleasure having you on the show again. And for our viewers, follow us on social and stay tuned for our next episode. Great.
Thanks,
Thank
Bob.
you, sir. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to share the SoundBreaker podcast. And if you are joining us on YouTube, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Until next time.